Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Mondays with Michele video. This week's topic, copy-paste beyond the basics. We'll look at some of the options for pasting information into your Word document. I'll also show you how to link information from an Excel spreadsheet to your Word document so that if changes are made to the spreadsheet, your document will show the updated version with just a few mouse clicks. Let's get started. And by popular demand, since I know Helen had said she wanted Dad on a Camel to make another appearance, I thought he could make an appearance on the cover page. So I'm calling this talk Copy Paste Beyond the Basics. So let's take a look and talk about how you copy and paste information into a document. So what most people are familiar with is the basic default copy paste. So let's take a look though at what happens if we are pasting information from another document that might not be formatted the same way. And I'm sure you've all experienced this. So here is, I've called it the before. Here is my basic paragraph in my Word document. And let's say I have another document or another source that I want to copy in information. But if you notice, the text I want to copy is in a different font. It's a different point size. So if I look up top, it says this new text is Baskerville 24 point. If I click inside the paragraph where I want to paste this, it's Calibri Body 14 point. So there's a difference in the formatting of the information. If I highlight this information that I want to copy, and I copy it by either clicking copy under the home menu here or using the shortcut. I copy it to the clipboard. Now I'll click inside this paragraph. Let's say I want the new text to appear right in front of the word perhaps. So I click here. Now I click paste by just clicking on that clipboard. You'll notice it's pasted the information in, but it brought the formatting with it. And most of the time, that's probably not what I want to do if I want to add text to an existing paragraph. So fortunately, there are other ways that you can paste the information in, and it will save you from then having to go and apply your formatting to fix the font, because right now I would have to reapply my paragraph style or reapply the font formatting to fix this problem. So let's look at the other options. If you click on this little paste drop-down arrow at the far left, you will see there are actually 4 little symbols. And I've got an enlarged picture up top here. And this first one that has the paintbrush, if you clicked on that, that's going to keep your source formatting, which is basically the same as the default paste, what I just showed you. So whatever is the formatting for what is being copied, it's going to bring it over and put that in your new document. And if you think about it, a lot of times that's what we want to do. So if I am moving things around within a document, I want it to keep that formatting information so that when I cut my table, for instance, and then paste the table somewhere else in the file, I definitely don't want to have to reformat everything from scratch. I want to keep that source formatting. So if I now select my sample text again and copy it, and if I go to this paste drop down, and if I choose this little paintbrush option, and I'm going to paste everything in right in front of the word perhaps again. So if I choose the one with the paintbrush, you'll see it's done exactly the same thing as if I had just clicked the clipboard with the piece of paper, because the default behavior that's been set up in Word is to paste your information with that source formatting. Let's look at what merge formatting, the next symbol, does. Basically, as you would suspect from the name, it tries to combine both your source formatting and the destination formatting. So it tries to make the best guess, which means when you paste information using this method, it will use whatever font name, whatever font color, and point size the paragraph has that you're pasting into. But if there was some other manually applied formatting, like some words being bolded or underlined in your text that is being copied, it will bring that formatting over. So again, let's take a look at how that works. You'll notice in this sample that I've prepared, we've got a different font, different point size. I've also used some color, and I've used some underlining and some bolding. So let's see what happens when I copy this. I want to copy it right there, and I'll do the merge formatting. And you'll notice this time it's pasted it in with the font and the point size that was already being used by this paragraph. And it's retained the manually applied formatting for these specific words. It kept the bolding, it kept the underlining. So this is much closer to what I would want. Let's look at the next option, and I suspect this is probably one that most people aren't familiar with. You can actually paste text as a picture. So let's take a look at what happens with this option. So again, I'm going to copy it. I will click where I want the text to appear. And I'm going to paste with the option that is using this little picture symbol. Now, when you look at it, you're probably thinking, well, it doesn't look like it's much different than the very first option where it kept all of the original formatting. But there is an important difference. Watch what happens when I try and click in this text. It has created this whole block of text as a picture image, which means I can resize it like I would a picture. I can drag this handle. In terms of when you would want to use this, my comment would be not that often, but I could see using this if I was doing a poster, for example, and there was a phrase that I wanted to place in a particular spot and I wanted to rotate it. The issue is, because this is coming in as a picture, you are limited in how you can edit it. So that's pasting as a picture. The one that I tend to use most of the time when I am trying to add text to existing paragraphs is this paste as text option. So what that means is I highlight my text, I copy it, I click in the paragraph to show where I want to paste it. I select this last clipboard with the little text symbol. And what it's doing is it's pasted it in with no formatting carried over from the original source. So we've lost the underlining, we've lost the bolding, we've lost the font color, font size. It is assuming that all I want to paste in is the actual words. In other words, as if I was just typing it into the paragraph. So if it was important, if you wanted to save time for applying this underlining and bolding to save yourself from having to manually go in and now apply that underlining to match the source, you could try the merge formatting. My concern with merge formatting is I figure then I'm leaving it up to the computer to decide which bits it's going to bring over and which bits it's not. So personally, I would prefer to just bring over the words and then I will apply any of the other manually formatting. Now, there's another command on this paste menu called paste special that we're going to talk about. And if I just show you what the options are, this lets you paste in other types of objects into your document. And you can either just paste them in as a copy, or you can paste them in as linked information. And if you paste it as a linked information, this is really handy if, for example, you have some information in an Excel spreadsheet that you want to paste into your Word document, but the information in the Excel spreadsheet is continuing to be updated. And you don't want to manually have to add new rows of data or update the information in the spreadsheet in your Word document, because then you're into the problem of two places to have the information. What if you forget to update one of those places? Your information is out of sync. So by creating a linked document, it means that if you make your change in that Excel spreadsheet that you started with, the changes will be reflected in the Word document. So let's take a look at how that works. Basically, I'm going to open up my Excel spreadsheet. So what I've used, what I've prepared here today, is a subset of an extract from the free birth, marriage, death for my Renton One Name study. So I pulled a list of the births, and I've got the quarter, the year. It's all for my Renton surname. I've got the given name, and I filled in the mother's maiden name field and the district. So what I'm going to do is select certain columns from this spreadsheet that I've decided I want to put in my Word document. So perhaps I want to include the year column, and I want the surname, the given name, the mother's name, and maybe the district. So I'm going to copy all of that information. And when you copy something, think of it as there is an invisible memory area, they call a clipboard, in the sky that you can copy everything to, but it's a pretty limited copy facility. It can only hold one copied item at a time. So the minute I try to copy something else, whatever was already on the clipboard disappears, and all I have is the very latest thing that I've copied. So right now, these 5 columns are sitting on that invisible clipboard, waiting for me to tell the computer what to do with it. I now go back to my Word document and I say, I want to paste that spreadsheet right here in this white space that I've reserved. I go to paste. This time I'm going to select paste special. And I've got a bunch of options. And what I'm going to show you first is not the Microsoft Excel worksheet object. I'm going to select HTML format, which basically is the internet friendly or web page friendly format. And I'm going to say paste link, because if I just use paste, you see down below here, let me just bring my spotlight up. It says that will insert the contents of the clipboard. So that's like just taking a copy of the data and pasting it in, same as with a regular copy paste, but there's no intelligence to link it back to my source document. So that gives me the situation of I'd have 2 copies of the information and I'd have to manually update both. I want it linked, which creates a shortcut to my source file, and changes to the source file will be reflected in my document. That's what I want. So if I now click OK, what it's done is pasted the spreadsheet in columns, even though you can't see the borders. But you notice the minute I move the mouse over this information, I get that little table symbol. And if I click on the little table symbol, I have a table. I can resize columns. I can click in individual cells. I could update the document from this from within the Word document, but I want to make sure I'm actually reflecting changes back in the Excel spreadsheet. So I'll show you how you do that. If I want to now make a change to the document, here's what I would do. I would select the table. I would right click. So on a PC, that means instead of the little left mouse button, I'm going to select the right mouse button. And I have these extra commands. This one that says linked worksheet object. I click on that and select open link, and it brings me right to my spreadsheet. So if I now go into the spreadsheet and let's say I'm going to change Elizabeth to Michele J. Test, I'm now going to save my changes. And I can close down this spreadsheet. If I come back to the document at this point, nothing has been updated. I have to right click in the table and select update link. And look what happened. It changed that third line to show Michele J. Test. Now, something important to remember, any kind of a linked document in Word, it is not a two-way link. So by that, I mean, if I was to just go in manually and change something here by typing, there is nothing that will connect that change back to the spreadsheet. So the way you have to edit these linked documents is either by manually opening up the spreadsheet. So I could go in, right now all I've got open is my Word document. I could go into Excel, open up my spreadsheet, and I could decide, okay, let's change Renton to Smith. I have to save the changes in order for them to show up in my Word document. So once I've saved, if I want, I could leave the spreadsheet open or I could close it down. When I come back into my Word document, you see that at this point, it's still showing the old information. I have to right-click, say, let's update the link, and pull in the latest changes. And look at that. There's the change showing Smith. So part of working with linked documents is understanding how to edit them, that you always have to be editing your source, but you can access the source from within the Word document. And you might be wondering why I chose the HTML. There's a few reasons. Because it brings it in as a table, I can apply my table designs to it. If I want it to look prettier than what it looked like just in the default mode, I can say all of those commands I showed you with working with tables, I can say, I like this style. And I can apply that style. I can set it so that this first row, I want to repeat when the table breaks over multiple pages. So I find the HTML option works really well for large tables. So let's now take a look at what we can do if we select the Excel spreadsheet Microsoft Excel object method of pasting in, because there are some options. So let's say I want to paste in my spreadsheet information, but I'm going to use one of those other options. So let's open up the spreadsheet. This time, I'm just going to select maybe this much data. I'm going to select the first 9 rows with just those columns. So I'm going to copy this information to my clipboard. I'm going to go into Word. I'm going to go to Paste, Paste Special. And this time I'm going to select the Microsoft Excel worksheet object. And again, I don't want to leave it at paste because that's going to give the same effect as just when I copy paste text. It's going to put a copy of it in, but there will be no intelligence linking it back to the source. I want to paste it in as a link. And something to note, the minute you select Microsoft Excel worksheet object and do paste link, It's saying it's inserting the contents as a picture. So this is one of the important things to note. If I click on this, you notice I don't get that little table symbol. It has created a picture of that spreadsheet, which is why I say this method works well if you have a small spreadsheet, one that has not many rows, because basically it's going to do everything it can to make it fit on one page. So imagine if you had a spreadsheet with 800 rows and you tried to paste it in as a linked object. It is going to shrink the text down to the point that you can't read anything in its effort to fit that chunk onto one page, because I can resize this just like a picture, but you notice your text gets smaller and smaller. So as I said, imagine if this was a large spreadsheet that was 1.5 pages long. By the time I shrink it, you can't read anything. What's nice about the Microsoft Excel object being linked, when you go to make changes, all you have to do is double click the object and it's opening up your spreadsheet. Similarly, if I want to make changes, let's change Jane Annette to Michele Test 2. And again, I have to save my changes. If I go back to my Word document, right now, those changes aren't reflected. I have to update the link. And there's the change, Michele Test 2. So to access the original spreadsheet, in this case, you can either double click that picture object of the spreadsheet, or just like before, you could right click it, select linked object, and open link. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. I have provided a link to 2 different documents. One is the Word document I used in the video. The other is a small Excel spreadsheet I prepared. Feel free to download both files and use them to practice the techniques that I demonstrated. Have fun, and thanks for watching.